So this tutorial is based on creating interactive presentations and seminars for people that you may be training or speaking to via the internet. I know recently that I've been doing a lot more online in terms of networking and creating tutorials for my clients. And what great way to do something than to make it a bit more interactive. So literally they're not just sat there listening to you all the time and watching slides. They actually get to interact and give their opinions and feedback. So what I use for this is something called Mentimeter.com. It is a free tool. You can have 2 questions within a free tool. Fully functional. You can create your presentation within Mentimeter itself. If you do want to go on the paid version, it's pretty accessible, to be honest with you. It's $8.99 a month, okay, and that means that you can actually import presentations from PowerPoint, so you're not starting from scratch, and you can have unlimited questions per presentation. If you want to start customizing with more themes and logos of your brand, then you go on to the pro version at $21.99 a month. I'm going to show you the free version. I think it's more than adequate to deliver some short presentations with a couple of interactive bits along the way. You can embed video and images into this free version, and I just think it's a great tool to get you to have a look at and think about how you can use it going forward. So what you do need is access an account with Mentimeter, so just join and sign up. It's very simple to do. But in order to make this interactive, your audience need to have a smart device available to them on the other end, because what they need to do is type in menti.com and add a unique number, a unique code, which then gives them access to your presentation real time so that they can then answer questions as and when you ask them. So I'm going to log in and I'll show you what it looks like. So when you log in, you get your basic presentations page here. Okay, and as you can see, I've got 2 presentations available for me at the moment that I've already done. On the left hand side, you've got a couple of bits and pieces here. Inspiration gives you some ideas about what other people have done. You can do it by business, teachers and students, speakers. Just give you some little bits of templates of pages that you might wish to use within your own presentation. So, you can take these and add them to your presentation if you wish. So let's just, for example, click on this one. Gives us a nice smiley face, and we're able to use that going forward within the presentation here. Okay, so if I click on that, I can then build my presentation around this particular slide that I've chosen. If you go back to home page, you can manage what's already available here. So if I look at this one, for example, I'll delete that for the purposes of this exercise, but I can go to ones that I've delivered previously. I can duplicate them in order to edit them going forward. I can share the voting link if there's a couple of bits and pieces in there I've asked for questions on. But more often than not, I use it to export results, which when you click on export results, it actually then takes you to this page. It will do all the loading of the screenshots, and it will also give me the final version in a PDF with the questions already answered. So if we look down here, you'll see on this chart that people have been interactive and given me their feedback. And also down on this word cloud, people have been contributing to that one as well. So you can download each individual slide, or you can just download the seminar in its entirety, which will bring it up in a PDF, and then you can actually just do the download and take it from there. So, it's quite easy in terms of being able to export information that you've already brought together from the ones you've delivered. But to create a new presentation, you just click on New Presentation there and give it a name, and then just click on Create. Now, if you're in the Pro version, in the paid versions, you can actually go to here and import your presentation from PowerPoint. On the free version, you don't have that option available to you, so you just got to think about what's important to you. If you already have something already that you want to add lots of different questions to, then it's worth paying the monthly. But if you're just going to create a few different slides for impact at a meeting, then the free version will do just. So you have your slides that come up on the left like PowerPoint, and you have 2 big group options here on the right. This first bit is about your questions and your quizzes, and then the second one are the slides templates that you'll typically see. And then you have some advanced questions that you can have a look at down here. So what you would typically start with, obviously, is maybe the heading. And if you just click on that, it doesn't give you too many options. You can't change the font on it in the free version. You can't change the size of anything or the layout. So you literally just are putting in your content over here, and then your details that you might be putting in here in terms of content or email addresses, stuff like that. Now, if you go to customize, it does give you some options here in terms of what you can use. If it was a voting slide, for example, this one is just literally a text version, and because we're not on the pro version, we don't have access to different colors and things. But if you go to type, it shows you that you're on the heading one. Okay, if you wanted to change this to a paragraph, you would click on it and it would give you the paragraph format, and then obviously then you can do something a little bit more with the information on that one there. Okay, so up on the top right you have something called themes, and it does give you some themes for free, and this is just color options, to be honest, on the free version. So the ones that don't have the star and the green circle, they're the pro versions. So you can check on one of these and do something that's a bit more colorful. So they're your themes that are up on the top right. If you just want to do something a little bit different, it also changes the font style as well. So you have a few there to go out on the free version that are more than adequate for the purposes of a short presentation. What you will find on here is at the top of every slide, it gives people the login details. So these don't go away. It enables you to kind of have these on each slide as you go through presenting it. And these are the details that the audience will put in when you're asking them a question. So for the purposes of this session, I'm just going to choose something a bit bolder, and then I'm going to add a slide here on the left, and I'm going to make this a question. Now on the free version, you can have 2 questions, okay? So I'm going to maybe take a multiple choice, for example, and just have a look through these and decide what you like. And again, it's just the question here, so let's just put in, what social media platforms do you use? Okay, so maybe we're trying to gauge information in terms of options down here, and then we can just basically put our options if we're doing something like this. So this is going to be the first question that we're going to ask people to answer. You can actually decide how you want that to be laid out, whether it's the bar chart which I've originally selected, or whether you want it as clusters or a donut or things like that. So what you can do here is obviously let them choose multiple options, and then you can give a number. So I just usually leave it at all if I just want to get a feel for what platforms they're using in general. If you just want to say, what are your top 3 platforms, then you would just bring it down here to the number 3. So that gives you a really nice interactive platform to be able to use in terms of that question. And like I say, if you go to customize, there's really nothing here that you would really kind of check, because you would want your audience to kind of see what the results are. If you don't, because you're going to launch them later on at an event or something, or it's purely for your purposes, then you just literally check on that, then nothing would happen there and they wouldn't see anything. But then I think that defeats the whole point of you actually doing the interactive nature in the first place, because people want to see that they're engaging in something. Now, just to let you know, it saves all the time. There is no saving required on this, which is just great news. It's a little bit like MailChimp. So you know what, it's constantly saving whenever you're doing updates and things, so you shouldn't lose it. So I'm just going to add another slide for the purposes of this exercise. We're going to drop some bullets in. I'm just going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to put another slide in and choose maybe a word cloud. And these are really popular because people can type in specific kind of phrases and words there and that they want to use to express their thoughts and opinions. So word clouds really start to work nicely, and when I present this, I'll show you how that works. So it could be, for example, that I want to find out who people are following on Instagram. So who do you follow on Instagram? Okay, and maybe we give them 3 options, so 3 times to fill that in. If you just want one answer off them, just put the 1, and if you want more, then just click that up. Okay, so once you're happy with it, what you would then want to do is just kind of have a look at it. So I just tend to go back, click on it, and then use my left and right arrows just to make sure that I'm kind of happy with what that looks like. And when you present it in real life, in terms of the bullet points, they come up individually, so they don't come up as a group, they come up when you click, and you'll see that shortly. And I can say, yeah, I'm really happy with that. I just want to put a final slide in that just kind of says thank you, and then I'm done. I'm good to go. Thanks. Okay, so this is going to be the presentation for the purposes of this tutorial. Now what I need to do is show you what the audience see their end. So I'm going to click back on this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on present. Now this is when it becomes interactive. Up to that point, nobody can see anything. So when I click on present, this is ready for the audience to get involved with. So what you would do now is we'll move over to the iPhone and we can see what people can see on a smartphone. So they type in menti.com and they come up with this page where it basically says enter the code. And as I've shown you previously, on each slide it gives you a specific code. So this one's 58, 96, 26 and 7. Now when I submit that, they now get the first slide that appears on my presentation. And as I start to present, they get the options that come through. So this is the first one. What social media platforms do you use? Well, if I check on Twitter, Instagram, if I scroll up, click on TikTok and submit, it now comes real time on the presentation. And as more and more people do that on their devices, you will start to see things happen on that bar chart in terms of interaction. Now, if I take a different device and just add some information in there, so I'm going to go with another, I'm going to go with LinkedIn and I'm going to choose Instagram and then submit that. Again, you will see how those start to realign themselves. And so if you've got lots of people doing this in real time, it's an absolutely fantastic tool. You'll just start to see things happening. You'll be able to explain around it and engage people, and they'll become quite alert their end. So that's one example of showing you there how the bar chart could work. So what you'll continue to do is just go through the presentation and just bring up your bullet points where you need them. It does you a really nice little dash line at the bottom of the last bullet point, which gives you a good indication that that's your last one, which is always very helpful. Sometimes we tend to go forward to the next slide without realising it. So that's a good little feature there. And then we get on to the next question, which is actually the word cloud. And again, if I just show you here, when somebody's filling this in, you can kind of get a feel now for what kind of information that they're putting into the word cloud. And what you can see here is it just starts to add more and more people to the platform and people get more engaged with it. It's just a really kind of nice, interesting tool to use to get people to see people's thoughts and opinions. It's slightly open-ended. Obviously, you have a character limit on what you can answer per one, but it just gives people a really nice bit of interactivity. And then when you're happy with that and you've gone through it and described it, then you just finish your presentation. So if you escape out and get back to your presentation here and then go to home, it will have collated all that information. Okay, and if you just go here again, like I said before, and go to export results, you can go here. Now, if you're on the paid version, you can get it pulled into Excel if you're trying to gather a lot of information. But what we're going to do here is just download this testing document just to show us what that presentation looked like. And within that, it will show us the answers to those questions that we asked. There you go. And this can then be sent off to your clients or your audience, just so that they have a reference of the conversations that people had. So I just think it's a fantastic tool, paid or free. There's a lot of use for it. If you want to make your sessions online a little bit more interesting, a bit more interactive, get people to use their technology that they have with them. A lot of people find it really impressive. It's a really cool tool to use. So do give it a go and let me know how you get on. And you can make some fantastic interactive presentations.